Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Clarick and Brooke Logan continued to talk at Il Giardino. Their main content of discussion was their son. They were in admiration of how Carter stepped up to defend Hope's honor and fashion line at the meeting. But, eventually, they wanted her to be happy. So they brainstormed potentially playing matchmaker for her. But who could they set her up with? They touched on Liam, but Deacon said that although he has grown to like the Joe, he didn't like how he treated Hope. He principally considered Liam a waffler, just like Ridge. In fact, he felt like the two love triangles were veritably analogous. But the person they do end citation is Carter. They said they wanted someone like Carter, still. At Forrester, Steffi took a call from a buyer who no longer wanted to do business with Hope for the future. This validated Steffi's opinion that they would have to cut the line if the deals continued to flail. Steffi told Ridge that she knew everybody allowed. She had it out for Hope, but she said this wasn't the case. The figures aren't there. Latterly, Ridge and Steffi both questioned why Carter went to club for Hope and Hope's lines so deep at the meeting. They felt it was weird, and commodity had to be over. But what could it be? Eventually, affects between Hope and Carter grew hot. But Hope wasn't ready because she had jumped from the end of her marriage to the disaster with Thomas. Also, she idealized Finn and kissed him. She claimed she demanded to be conservative with her heart. Carter assured Hope he wasn't the Joe who would do that. Accordingly, Hope just demanded to take effect sluggishly. She still wanted to see him. Hope reflected on Carter's unforeseen faith in her and her work with Hope for the future. Brooke walked by and couldn't believe her son was actually smiling. They talked about Carter's positive underpinning for her line, and they agreed not to let Steffi ruin Hope for the future's chances of success. Latterly, in turn walked in, and Brooke and Hope lessoned him on the ways of the Forrester family business, primarily the Logan versus the Forresters. Hope said that she's happy to have further Logan support around, still. In turn, he told them that one of the main reasons he loved working at FC was the beautiful women. At Il Giardino, Deacon and Sheila talked about why Brooke visited Deacon at the eatery. He told her about Hope and Carter and how Steffi continued to hang HFTF. At Forrester, Carter informed Hisco CEO of his big picture ideas, which included exercising combinations and accessions to bring in companies that would add to a Forrester luxury brand that would be great to make. This included rebooting the jewelry line Quinn formerly ran. Steffi's station was enough iffy, but Carter forged on. In addition to his ideas, he arranged a meeting with Ivy, who he allowed could run the jewelry line. Still, Steffi felt ambuscaded and didn't want to work with someone she had disaccorded with preliminarily. Despite Carter and Ivy giving Steffi the hard sell, she wasn't sure. Ivy brought in her adjunct, Elector Forrester, whom Steffi was veritably happy to see. Unfortunately, her presence didn't sway Steffi, and as the occasion ended, Steffi looked overwhelmed and equivocal. The meeting about rebooting the jewelry line continued. And as hard as Carter and Ivy communicated their perspective of how this move could be great for the company and the family, Steffi eventually passed. Out in the hallway, Carter, Ivy, and Electra bandied Steffi's rejection of the jewelry line idea. Ivy brought Electra up to speed on their bad blood, which involved both of them being in love with Liam Spencer. Carter wished Steffi would just concentrate on the business side and forget the particular baggage. Hope and Brooke reiterated their studies to Will about the work terrain at Forrester. They emphasized the Logan versus Forrester contest and how Steffi occasionally tried to put the enmity away, but also again, occasionally she leaned into it. Latterly, during Brooke and Steffi's discussion, Steffi started questioning Carter's judgment as susurrus. It wasn't just about his over-the-top defense of Hope's line, it was also about the jewelry line reboot. Will suddenly banged into someone in the hallway. Unfortunately, everything the person was holding flew far and wide. Will helped pick her effects up, including a ring. When he was on one knee, he reached out to return the ring. It was Electra, and she and Will engaged in a match, cute. Eventually, Carter stormed into Hope's office, lamenting how Steffi kept making opinions grounded on her particular issues. And that wasn't right. While she was a able CEO, she demanded to be further than able. For what he was allowing, Steffi demanded to go big. Hope encouraged Carter's ideas and told him that indeed if Steffi didn't believe in them, he should take them to Eric and Ridge. Carter told Hope that what he was proposing was a major game changer. Meanwhile, Steffi and Ridge bandied Carter. She again mentioned she was starting to question his judgment, and it wasn't just about HFTF. He arranged to bring Ivy then to blindside her on rebooting the jewelry line. She didn't know what he was allowing. Ivy and Electra landed at Eric's place. There, they looked at family print compendiums. But Ivy ultimately told Eric that she was in city with Electra to reboot the jewelry line. She had a feeling it wasn't going to be, and that was because of Steffi. After hearkening to Ivy, Eric felt that Steffi and Ridge should hear. In the meantime, he suggested that Ivy and Electra stay at his place. Will and an inspired Zend talked at Forrester. Zend noticed how the women around Forrester Creations wanted to be in Will's propinquity. Will told Zend about his match cute and said her name was Electra, but Zend didn't know who she was. Zend, Hope, and Carter joined an improvisational meeting in Steffi's office. On the docket was HFTF. Buyers were bailing, and Steffi wasn't sure if they could recover from this. That's why she felt they should either cut the backing or cut the line fully. When Hope started to defend her line, Carter intruded so he could handle effects. He said that his ideas were a vagrancy. He'd been studying this for a long time. He told them about expanding the Forrester luxury brand beyond fashion. He wanted everybody to suppose on a grand scale. Did Steffi and Ridge really hear to what Carter had to say? Steffi and Ridge started to defend Forrester, saying that it's not a launch-up but a luxury brand. While Carter agreed with them, Brooke and Eric walked by. Will joined Liam for lunch at Spencer, where they talked about all the beautiful women at FC. Liam allowed. None more so than Hope. Will suggested Liam suppose less and do more. Suddenly, Liam talked about always knowing deep down that he wanted to grow old with Hope. She was the only hope for his future. Again, Will encouraged his half-family to not get perfunctory when it came to Hope. Carter disburned his game-changing idea for everyone. Eric came up with feasible downsides to this extraordinary expansion he's talking about. Acquiring these companies could come with substantial debts and pitfalls. Carter conceded this strike. Eric brought up the jewelry line, and Steffi advised that this might not be a good time to go this route, especially with HFTF heaving for air. Carter understood where she was coming from and tried to ease their apprehensions. Carter continued to make good points about getting into cosmetics and scent. He allowed. Reaching out to Jabot would be ideal. But first, they had to invest in themselves, specifically in HFTF. When Steffi wondered why he continued to stick up for HFTF so much, Carter himself wondered if her enterprises weren't professionally grounded. Eventually, Steffi, Eric, and Ridge heeded to Carter, and they said they'd get back to him. Steffi admitted that Carter's ideas were good but allowed. He was due wrong on one thing: HFTF. Hope and Carter returned to the other office to celebrate what had just occurred. Brooke was agitated about the possibilities, while Ridge demanded to reuse it all first. Hope felt amped by what Carter had just done. Carter admitted that he'd sat on these ideas for so long, and he no way would have pitched them without her help and stimulant. This was his way of giving back to the company the faith and confidence they had shown him all these times. Just as Hope and Carter started getting hot and amorous, Hope told Carter to lock the door. Unfortunately, it was too late. Brooke walked by and yelled, "Carter, what are you doing?" "Oh my God, Hope.